Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk to you today about something incredibly simple but profoundly powerful. Something that can transform your life, your future, and everything you've ever dreamed of if you are willing to give it just 1 hour a day. Now, I know what you're thinking. An hour a day? That's not a lot of time. How could that possibly make a difference? But let me tell you something. It's not about the time itself. It's about how you use it. You see, there are people all around the world who have achieved extraordinary success, not because they had more time, but because they maximized the time they had. They understood that a single hour, when focused, dedicated, and intentionally used, has the power to change the course of their entire life. Success is often portrayed as something that requires monumental, dramatic actions. We're told that to achieve greatness, we need to make huge, life-altering decisions. But the truth is, success rarely happens in a single moment of inspiration or massive effort. Instead, it is built over time with small, consistent actions that compound into results. The idea that small daily efforts add up to massive change over time is not just a motivational catchphrase, it's a principle rooted in reality. And it's one of the most powerful truths we can leverage in our pursuit of growth and success. The power of consistency is often underestimated. People get discouraged because they don't see immediate results from their actions, but the key is to recognize that success is a journey, not a destination. The path to success is not always linear. It's filled with ups and downs, moments of progress, and moments of stagnation. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is their ability to stay consistent, even when results are not immediately visible. When we talk about consistency, we're not talking about doing something perfectly every single time, or even getting it right all the time. Perfection isn't the goal, progress is. The simple act of showing up day after day, putting in the effort, and sticking to your commitment, even when it feels hard or you don't feel like it, is what will pay off in the long run. You might not see a significant shift after the first day or the first week or even the first month. But over time, those small actions accumulate and you begin to realize just how much progress you've actually made. Think about how compound interest works. When you invest money into a savings account or an investment, the interest that accumulates isn't just based on the initial deposit, but on the interest that has been added over time. The longer you stay consistent with your investment, the more it grows, even if the initial growth seems small or insignificant. The same concept applies to our actions. Every small step you take, even if it doesn't feel like much in the moment, is adding value to your growth. Over time, this compounds into something significant, often much larger than we could have imagined. The key to this is understanding that consistency doesn't require extraordinary effort. It doesn't mean you have to give up everything else or sacrifice your life for a single goal. It's about showing up consistently, even if it's for just a small amount of time. It's about dedicating a small part of your day to your goals, whether it's reading a few pages of a book, practicing a new skill for 15 minutes, or taking the time to reflect on your progress. These small actions, when done consistently, will stack up and bring about change that would seem impossible if viewed through a short-term lens. Another important aspect of consistency is that it builds momentum. When you keep showing up, even on days when motivation seems lacking, you begin to create a rhythm. This rhythm makes it easier to keep going. It becomes part of your routine and your brain starts to adapt to the idea that this is just what you do. As you stay consistent, you build confidence in your ability to follow through. And with that confidence comes greater motivation and clarity on your goals. You start to see progress in areas you may have thought were beyond reach. Consistency is also about developing habits that serve you in the long term. The more you repeat an action, the easier it becomes to continue doing it. A habit doesn't need to be a monumental task. It can be a small, simple step that you take every day. Whether it's waking up 30 minutes earlier to work on your business or committing to a daily workout routine, those small changes, if done every day, add up to a transformation over time. So while it's easy to get distracted by the allure of quick fixes or immediate results, it's crucial to embrace the power of consistency. Whether you're working toward a personal goal, a career objective, or a health target, the key to lasting change is consistency. Start small, show up every day, and trust that over time, these small efforts will lead you to a place far beyond where you ever imagined you could be. When we talk about success, we often think about a grand vision, a massive transformation, or a life-altering event. But the truth is success is built not on random, unplanned moments, but on purposeful action. Purpose is the guiding force that drives our decisions, shapes our actions, and leads us toward the results we want. In a world filled with distractions and noise, it's easy to lose sight of our true intentions. However, when we commit to using our time with intentionality, we unlock the true potential for transformation. Purpose is what gives direction to our efforts. Without it, we're like a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the waves take us. It's easy to get caught up in the fast pace of life, reacting to everything around us, emails, meetings, phone calls, social media notifications, and end up feeling overwhelmed and unproductive. But when we begin to approach each day with purpose, we start to cut through the noise and focus on what really matters. We align our actions with our deepest values, and we ensure that every step we take is leading us closer to our goals. Purpose isn't something that's handed to us, it's something we must define for ourselves. It requires self-reflection, clarity, and the courage to take action based on what we truly want out of life. This is where intentionality comes in. Every choice we make, no matter how small, can either take us closer to our purpose or lead us further away from it. But when we become intentional about our time, when we consciously choose how we spend our hours and our energy, we take control of our future. We stop letting life happen to us and start creating the life we truly desire. Being intentional with our time doesn't mean filling every moment with tasks, busy work, or striving for constant activity. It means being strategic about where we invest our energy. It's about prioritizing the things that move us forward, that help us grow, and that bring us closer to our long-term vision. It's about saying no to distractions that don't align with our purpose, and yes, the actions that truly matter. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, being intentional might mean carving out time each day for exercise, even if it's just for a short walk or stretching session. It might mean making healthier food choices rather than reaching for comfort foods. These actions, while small, are aligned with your purpose and contribute to the bigger picture of your well-being. When you approach your health with purpose, you stop mindlessly following habits that don't serve you. And you start making deliberate choices that help you thrive. In our careers, being intentional means taking the time to focus on what truly advances our goals. It might mean learning a new skill that enhances your job performance, or seeking opportunities to network and build relationships that support your professional growth. It's easy to get bogged down in the daily grind, responding to emails, attending meetings, or completing tasks that feel urgent but don't contribute to your long-term success. But when you approach your work with purpose, you focus on activities that move you closer to your career aspirations. Purpose is also essential in our relationships. We often talk about the importance of connection, but true connection requires intentional effort. It means actively listening when someone is speaking, being present in the moment, and choosing to invest time and energy in relationships that nourish and support us. In today's world, where distractions are constantly vying for our attention, it's easy to neglect the people who matter most. But when we approach our relationships with purpose, we show up with intention and create deeper, more meaningful connections. Intentionality in time management doesn't just make us more productive, it gives our lives greater meaning. We stop feeling like we're simply passing the time, and instead we realize that we are actively shaping our lives. Every day becomes an opportunity to take purposeful action toward our goals, to build the future we envision. This sense of purpose fuels our motivation, making it easier to stay focused and stay the course, even when things get tough. The impact of living with purpose is profound. It transforms how we approach each day, how we make decisions, and how we view challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the demands of life, we begin to see each challenge an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to move closer to our goals. Purpose gives us the clarity we need to navigate the ups and downs of life with confidence, knowing that every step we take is aligned with our deepest values and aspirations. Time is often described as the most precious resource we have, and for good reason. It's the one thing we can never get back once it's gone. Unlike money, possessions, or opportunities, time doesn't regenerate. It's finite. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, regardless of our background, our circumstances, or our position in life. The difference between those who succeed and those who struggle often comes down to how they choose to use their time. Time is equal for everyone, but how we manage it defines the outcomes we achieve. At its core, the concept of time being equal for all of us is both empowering and humbling. It levels the playing field. You might look at successful people and think they have something that you don't have, perhaps more resources, more connections, or more children for more opportunities. But when you strip away everything else, they are no different from you in one very important way. They have the same amount of time in their day. What separates those who thrive from those who don't is how they choose to spend that time. Success doesn't come from having more time. It comes from making the most of the time you have. We often find ourselves caught in a cycle of busyness, thinking that the more we do, the more productive we are. But busyness does not equate to effectiveness. Many people spend hours in meetings answering emails, or running errands. But those activities, while necessary, don't always lead to progress toward our long-term goals. The key is not just doing things, it's doing the right things. And that starts with being intentional about how you spend your time. Take a moment to reflect on how you use your day. Are you spending your time on activities that align with your goals and values? Or are you simply reacting to whatever comes your way, filling your day with things that may not move you forward? This is where time management comes into play. It's not about cramming as much as possible into your day. It's about identifying the activities that matter most and prioritizing them. Whether it's working on a personal project, improving your skills, exercising, or nurturing your relationships, you must be intentional with how you allocate your time. Another key point about time being equal for everyone is the idea of ownership. When we realize that we are in full control of how we spend our time, we take ownership of our success. We stop blaming external circumstances or waiting for the right time to begin. We understand that now is the only time we truly have, and the decisions we make today directly affect the outcomes of tomorrow. Procrastination often stems from the false belief that we have plenty of time left to do something later. But time waits for no one. And those who succeed understand this. They make the most of every moment because they know that time doesn't stretch or bend, it moves forward relentlessly. The best part of time being equal for everyone is that it means no one is at a disadvantage when it comes to opportunity. You don't need more hours in the day to succeed. You need to use the hours you already have more wisely. By focusing on what truly matters, you can achieve more than you ever imagined. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not about working harder, but about working smarter, aligning your time with your priorities, blocking out distractions, and being purposeful with every hour you have. In addition to being a tool for success, time is also a measure of how much we value our goals. If we say we want something but never dedicate time to working toward it, our actions speak louder than our words. Time is a reflection of our commitment. The more time we invest in our passions, goals, and aspirations, the more we demonstrate our dedication to them. Success then becomes a natural outcome of our decisions to invest our time in meaningful pursuits. Understanding that time is equal for everyone gives us the power to take control of our lives. It reminds us that the responsibility for our success or failure is in our hands. It forces us to be mindful of how we spend each hour, knowing that the choices we make today are shaping our future. Success isn't about having more time, it's about using the time you have wisely. And when you make the most of every moment, the results will follow. 1 hour a day may seem like a small amount of time in the grand scheme of things, but when used with intention and consistency, it has the power to create extraordinary change. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the idea of achieving significant success, especially when the path ahead seems long and full of obstacles. We often think that we need to dedicate large chunks of time to make meaningful progress, but the truth is, it's the small, consistent steps that add up over time. 1 hour a day may seem insignificant at first, but when you commit to using that hour each day for your personal growth, you'll begin to see how much impact it can have on your life. The key to making the most of that 1 hour is understanding the compound effect. The compound refers to the principle that small, consistent actions over time lead to big results. It's the idea that small, seemingly insignificant actions can accumulate and compound to produce massive outcomes. Think about how much progress you can make in a year by dedicating just 1 hour each day to a goal. Over 365 days, that's 365 hours, or more than 15 full days of focused effort. What could you achieve in that time? Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your fitness, building a business, or deepening your relationships, that hour a day adds up and the results will follow. 1 hour a day can be used to learn something new, to practice a skill, to develop yourself in some way that contributes to your long-term success. Let's say your goal if you dedicate just 1 hour a day about entrepreneurship, working on a business plan, or networking with potential clients or partners, you'll begin to see progress. Over time, that 1 hour a day will lead to real, tangible results, whether it's launching your business, gaining your first customers, or mastering the strategies that will help you grow. The important thing is that you're moving forward every day, even if it's just in small increments. It's easy to convince ourselves that we don't have the time to work on our goals. Life gets busy and the demands of work, family, and other responsibilities often take priority. But the truth is, we all have 24 hours in a day, and it's how we choose to spend those hours that makes the difference. 1 hour a day is something that's achievable for almost everyone, no matter how packed your schedule may be. You might need to adjust how you spend your time, but it's possible to find 1 hour each day to devote to the things that matter most. Perhaps it means waking up an hour earlier, cutting back on some of the time you spend on social media, or using your lunch break more effectively. The point is, that hour is yours to take, and you have the ability to make it count. One of the challenges people face when committing to 1 hour a day is that they expect immediate results. They want to see dramatic improvements after just a few sessions or days of work. However, the real power of 1 hour a day is that it builds momentum over time. At first, it might feel like you're not getting anywhere, but as you continue to show up each day, things start to click. You start to see the progress you've made. That hour a day starts to build into something much bigger than you anticipated. It becomes a habit, a routine, and eventually a key part of who you are. Success becomes not just about the actions you take, but about the mindset you cultivate through that consistent, focused effort. The beauty of dedicating 1 hour a day to your goals is that it doesn't require a complete overhaul of your life. You don't have to sacrifice everything else. You just need to make the commitment to show up for that hour, day in and day out. Over time, that commitment will compound and you'll find yourself closer to your goals than you ever thought possible. The results will speak for themselves. 1 hour a day may seem small, but it's a step toward creating the life you want. It's about making progress every single day, even if it's just a little bit at a time. The difference between success and failure is not necessarily about working harder or longer hours. It's about being consistent and intentional with the time you have. By committing to just 1 hour a day, you are investing in your future. And that investment will pay off in ways you can't always predict at first, but will surely come to fruition in time. Success is often misunderstood as something that requires monumental effort or massive changes. We often look at successful people and assume they must have done something extraordinary to get to where they are. However, the truth is that success doesn't come from a few large, dramatic actions. It comes from the small, consistent actions that we take every single day. This is the power of habit. When we commit to daily actions, even small ones, and make them a part of our routine, we set ourselves up for long-term success. Habits are the building blocks of any achievement. The key is to develop good habits and stick to them, day in and day out. The power of habit lies in its ability to transform our behavior and mindset over time. Think about something you do every day without even thinking about it, like brushing your teeth or making your bed in the morning. These tasks have become automatic, part of your daily routine. This is the kind of consistency that builds success. Small, seemingly insignificant actions performed regularly over time add up and contribute to significant change. The more you repeat an action, the easier it becomes to continue doing it. This is why habits are so powerful. They create a level of consistency that moves you closer to your goals, whether you see immediate results or not. The process of building habits starts with making a decision. It's about deciding that this new action, however small, will become a part of your life. Whether it's committing to reading a book every day, exercising for 30 minutes, or spending time learning a new skill, it all starts with the choice to begin. But starting is only half the battle. The real challenge lies in maintaining that habit day after day, even when motivation wanes or life gets in the way. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is what allows us to stick to our habits even when we don't feel like it, when other things are calling for our attention, or when we're not seeing immediate results. It's what keeps us going when the initial excitement fades and the path to our goal seems longer than we anticipated. The beauty of habits is that they don't require you to make huge, dramatic efforts. They're not about working 16-hour days or overhauling your entire lifestyle overnight. Instead, they're about making small, sustainable changes that can be repeated every day. These small actions are what eventually lead to big transformations. For example, if you want to get in better shape, committing to a 15-minute workout every day is far more effective in the long run than trying to exercise for hours once a week. The consistency of showing up every day, even for a short time, is what leads to lasting change. But habits aren't just about action, they're also about mindset. The more you make a habit of taking small, consistent steps, the more you begin to shift your mindset towards success. Every time you show up, even for a brief period, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. You start to see yourself as someone who takes action, who is disciplined and committed to their own success. This mindset shift is crucial because it's what propels you forward when obstacles arise. It's easy to get discouraged when progress seems slow, but when you build a habit around your goal, the habit itself becomes the driving force that keeps you moving forward, even when motivation is low. Creating habits also means making them easy to maintain. If you set goals that are too big or unrealistic, it's easy to get overwhelmed and give up. But when you break your goals down into small, manageable actions, it becomes easier to integrate them into your daily routine. This is why the power of habit is so impactful. It's not about asking yourself to do something impossible. It's about taking small steps, day after day, towards something meaningful. It's the compound effect of these small actions that adds up over time and leads to extraordinary results. Ultimately, success is a result of the daily habits we cultivate. Whether it's the habit of getting up early to work on your personal development, the habit of making time for your health, or the habit of investing in your relationships, it's the small, consistent actions that create lasting change. These habits build momentum, and that momentum propels you toward your goals, even when things get tough. The key is to stay consistent, to keep showing up, and to trust that these small actions, over time, will lead to the success you desire. Discipline is often seen as a burden, something that restricts freedom and creativity. However, true success comes from the ability to create and maintain discipline in our daily lives. Discipline is not about rigid rules or harsh punishment. It's about the ability to prioritize what's important and to stay committed to your goals, regardless of how difficult the journey may seem. Success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart and doing so consistently. The ability to stay disciplined allows us to focus on the right things and to consistently take action, even when motivation is fleeting or obstacles appear. At the heart of discipline is the ability to make decisions. Every day we face countless choices that determine the course of our day and ultimately the trajectory of our lives. Without discipline, we often make decisions based on temporary desires or emotions, leading us to procrastinate or fall into patterns of avoidance. With discipline, however, we learn to make decisions based on our long-term goals, not on the fleeting impulses of the moment. It's about choosing what's best for us over what feels good in the short term. This ability to delay gratification and to make decisions based on our long-term vision is one of the most important aspects of success. Discipline requires us to create habits that align with our values and goals. It's not enough to simply work hard or put in long hours. What matters is the consistency of your efforts and how those efforts align with your desired outcomes. Developing disciplined habits means choosing actions that will get you closer to your goals, even if those actions feel difficult or uncomfortable in the moment. For instance, if your goal is to improve your health, discipline might mean saying no to unhealthy foods or committing to a regular exercise routine, even on days when you don't feel like it. It's the act of choosing what's right over what's easy or tempting. One of the challenges of discipline is staying consistent over time. In the beginning, it's easy to be motivated and excited about a new goal or project. But as time goes on and the novelty wears off, it becomes harder to stay disciplined. This is where the true power of discipline lies. It's not about the excitement of the first few days. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. This consistency is what ultimately leads to progress. When you are disciplined, you're building a foundation of small actions that accumulate over time to create lasting change. To maintain discipline, it's important to set clear, achievable goals. Without clarity on what you achieve, it's easy to become distracted or lose focus. A lack of clarity can lead to aimless efforts that don't move you closer to your goals. When you define what you want and break it down into manageable steps, it becomes easier to stay disciplined. Every step you take is a small, disciplined action that moves you forward. Discipline is about focusing on the steps, not the entire mountain, and trusting that the process will get you where you want to go. Accountability is another key element of discipline. When you have someone holding you accountable, whether a mentor, a coach, or even a friend, you are more likely to stick to your commitments. Accountability adds an element of external pressure that can help you stay disciplined when your own motivation wanes. It's much harder to skip a workout or delay a task when you know someone is expecting you to show up. This sense of responsibility can push you to stay disciplined even when it feels easier to give up or take shortcuts. It's also important to recognize that discipline doesn't mean perfection. Discipline is not about always getting it right or never making mistakes. It's about making progress and getting back on track when you fall off course. Everyone faces challenges and setbacks, but discipline is what allows you to persevere through those moments and continue to move forward. It's about not giving up when things don't go as planned and being willing to learn from your mistakes. Ultimately, discipline is the foundation of success. It's not about following a rigid set of rules or depriving yourself of enjoyment. It's about making conscious decisions every day that align with your goals, staying consistent, and not allowing temporary distractions to derail your progress. Discipline helps you stay focused on the bigger picture even when immediate results aren't apparent. It's what keeps you moving forward, one step at a time, toward the life you envision. The more disciplined you become, the easier it is to stay committed to your goals and the closer you get to achieving them. Success often feels like a distant dream, something only for the few who are lucky, privileged, or born with special talents. But the reality is that success is available to anyone regardless of their background or circumstances. The true difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't often comes down to one thing: the willingness to take consistent action. Success isn't about being perfect or having everything in place. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when the results are not immediate. It's about committing to the process regardless of the obstacles, challenges, or setbacks that inevitably arise along the way. Many people expect results to come quickly. They think that if they work hard for a few days, they should see some kind of immediate success. However, this mindset sets them up for disappointment and frustration. The reality of success is that it's built on small, incremental actions that add up over time. It's easy to get disheartened when progress seems slow or when you don't see the immediate impact of your efforts. But the key is consistency. If you are consistent in your actions, the results will come, even if they're not immediately visible. Taking action. Even small steps helps to build momentum. Momentum is a powerful force that can propel you toward your goals, even when things get tough. The more you take action, the more confident you become in your ability to succeed. Each small success along the way adds to your belief in yourself and in the process. It's like stacking small building blocks that eventually create a solid foundation. Without consistent action, those blocks will never stack up and progress will be delayed or non-existent. The fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons why many people avoid taking action. They worry about making mistakes, looking foolish, or facing rejection. But failure is not the end of the road, it's part of the journey. Every successful person has faced setbacks of failures and challenges along the way. What sets them apart is their ability to keep moving forward despite those obstacles. They see failure as a learning opportunity, not as a sign to give up. In fact, failure can often teach us more than success ever could. When we fail, we learn valuable lessons that can help us improve and refine our approach. The willingness to take action, regardless of the fear of failure, is what leads to real growth and success. There's also the element of self-discipline involved in taking consistent action. It's easy to wait until we feel motivated or inspired to take action, but motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. Discipline, however, is what keeps you going when motivation runs dry. When you commit to taking action, regardless of how you feel, you build the discipline to stay on track, even on the tough days. Discipline is the ability to follow through with your intentions, whether you feel excited about your goals or not. The key is to show up and do the work, regardless of your emotional state or external circumstances. Furthermore, taking action creates clarity. Many people wait for the perfect plan or the right moment to start. They think they need everything figured out before they can begin. But the truth is, you don't have to have all the answers to get started. It's through action that you gain clarity. The more you take action, the more you learn about what works and what doesn't. You refine your approach as you go and adjust your strategy based on real-world feedback. Action provides the experience and knowledge necessary to make better decisions and move closer to your goals. Taking action also keeps you connected to your goals. It's easy to get distracted by the demands of daily life or to lose sight of your larger aspirations. But when you consistently take action, even in small ways, you stay focused on what truly matters. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the vision you've set for yourself. It helps you avoid getting caught up in the minutiae of day-to-day life and ensures that you are always moving forward toward your ultimate objective. The truth is that success is not reserved for a select few. It's available to anyone willing to put in the work, show up consistently, and take action every single day. The road to success isn't always easy, and the results don't always come immediately. But if you stay committed to taking consistent action, you will see progress, and you will eventually reach your goals. Success is not about waiting for the perfect time or the right conditions. It's about making the decision to start and then showing up every day, regardless of the obstacles or setbacks. It's about taking action, learning from your mistakes, and staying focused on the bigger picture. Success is often thought of as a result of grand, spectacular efforts or sudden breakthroughs. But the reality is that it is built on consistency, patience, and the ability to keep moving forward, even when the path seems unclear. It's easy to get discouraged when progress doesn't come quickly or when the journey feels longer than expected. In those moments, it's important to remember that the key to success is not necessarily about taking massive, dramatic actions. Instead, It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and remaining committed to the process, no matter how difficult or slow the progress might seem. One of the biggest obstacles many people face is the feeling that they are not making progress fast enough. In today's world, where instant gratification is the norm, it's easy to become impatient when results don't materialize immediately. However, the reality of success is that it's built over time. Think about any major achievement in life that didn't happen overnight. Whether it's building a career, improving your health, or mastering a skill, success takes time. It requires dedication, focus, and the willingness to stay committed to the process, even when immediate results are not visible. The key to moving past the frustration of slow progress is to focus on the process, not the outcome. When you focus only on the end result, you can easily become discouraged when things don't go as planned or when progress feels too slow. However, when you focus on the daily actions and small improvements, you begin to appreciate the journey itself. Each small step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, is a step closer to your goal. Over time, those small steps compound and lead to significant results. It's the consistent effort, day in and day out, that builds momentum and leads to long-term success. Another critical aspect of building success is the ability to embrace discomfort. Achieving anything of value requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you push yourself beyond your current limits, when you challenge yourself to do things you've never done before. It's easy to avoid discomfort, to stay in a safe and familiar place, but true progress requires that you face challenges head on. Whether it's overcoming fear, taking risks, or making sacrifices, growth often comes from the willingness to experience discomfort and keep going despite it. Embracing discomfort also means being willing to fail. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey, yet it is something many people try to avoid at all costs. However, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a crucial part of it. Every successful person has failed at some point. What sets them apart is their ability to use failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. When you fail, you have the opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. It's through failure that we discover what doesn't work, refine our strategies, and build resilience. Embracing failure as part of the process is one of the most important mindset shifts that can lead to greater success. Building success also requires focus and discipline. It's easy to become distracted by the many demands of daily life, to give in to the temptation to procrastinate, or to chase after shiny objects that seem more exciting in the moment. But success requires the ability to stay focused on what truly matters. This means saying no to distractions and staying committed to the task that will move you toward your goal. Discipline is what helps you maintain this focus, even when other things are calling for your attention. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Success is not built on moments of inspiration, it's built on consistent, disciplined effort. Finally, one of the most important elements of success is belief in yourself. If you don't believe that you can achieve your goals, it's much harder to stay motivated and take consistent action. Self-belief isn't about arrogance or overconfidence, it's about trusting in your ability to figure things out, to overcome challenges, and to keep pushing forward when things get tough. The journey to success is filled with ups and downs, but when you have a strong belief in your own ability, you're more likely to persevere through the challenges and continue on the path toward your goals. It's this self-belief that helps you stay grounded and focused, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment or hoping for a lucky break. It comes from showing up every day, doing the work, embracing discomfort, learning from failure, staying disciplined, and believing in yourself. It's the small, consistent actions that over time lead to extraordinary results. So the next time you feel discouraged by the lack of immediate results, remember that the key to success is not in taking massive leaps, but in making steady, consistent progress, no matter how small. Keep moving forward, and eventually you'll reach your destination. Success is often thought of as a result of grand, spectacular efforts or sudden breakthroughs, but the reality is that it is built on consistency, patience, and the ability to keep moving forward, even when the path seems unclear. It's easy to get discouraged when progress doesn't come quickly or when the journey feels longer than expected. In those moments, it's important to remember that the key to success is not necessarily about taking massive, dramatic actions. Instead, it's about showing up every day, doing the work, and remaining committed to the process no matter how difficult or slow the progress might seem. One of the biggest obstacles many people face is the feeling that they are not making progress fast enough. In today's world, where instant gratification is the norm, it's easy to become impatient when results don't materialize immediately. However, the reality of success is that it's built over time. Think about any major achievement in life, it didn't happen overnight. Whether it's building a career, improving your health, or mastering a skill, success takes time. It requires dedication, focus, and the willingness to stay committed to the process, even when immediate results are not visible. The key to moving past the frustration of slow progress is to focus on the process, not the outcome. When you focus only on the end result, you can easily become discouraged when things don't go as planned or when progress feels too slow. However, when you focus on the daily actions and small improvements, you begin to appreciate the journey itself. Each small step forward, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, is a step closer to your goal. Over time, those small steps compound and lead to significant results. It's the consistent effort, day in and day out, that builds momentum and leads to long-term success. Another critical aspect of building success is the ability to embrace discomfort. Achieving anything of value requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you push yourself beyond your current limits, when you challenge yourself to do things you've never done before. It's easy to avoid discomfort, to stay in a safe and familiar place. But true progress requires that you face challenges head on. Whether it's overcoming fear, taking risks, or making sacrifices, growth often comes from the willingness to experience discomfort and keep going despite it. Embracing discomfort also means being willing to fail. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey, yet it is something many people try to avoid at all costs. However, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a crucial part of it. Every successful person has failed at some point. What sets them apart is their ability to use failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. When you fail, you have the opportunity to learn, grow, and improve. It's through failure to find more strategies and build resilience. Embracing failure as part of the process is one of the most important mindset shifts that can lead to greater success. Building success also requires focus and discipline. It's easy to become distracted by the many demands of daily life, to give in to the temptation to procrastinate, or to chase after shiny objects that seem more exciting in the moment. But success requires the ability to stay focused on what truly matters. This means saying no to distractions and staying committed to the tasks that will move you toward your goal. Discipline is what helps you maintain this focus even when other things are calling for your attention. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Success is not built on moments of inspiration, it's built on consistent, disciplined effort. Finally, one of the most important elements of success is belief in yourself. If you don't believe that you can achieve your goals, it's much harder to stay motivated and take consistent action. Self-belief isn't about arrogance or overconfidence, it's about trusting in your ability to figure things out, to overcome challenges, and to keep pushing forward when things get tough. The journey to success is filled with ups and downs, but when you have a strong belief in your own ability, you're more likely to persevere through the challenges and continue on the path toward your goals. It's this self-belief that helps you stay grounded and focused even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Success doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment or hoping for a lucky break. It comes from showing up every day doing the work, embracing discomfort, learning from failure, staying disciplined, and believing in yourself. It's the small, consistent actions that over time lead to extraordinary results. So, the next time you feel discouraged by the lack of immediate results, remember that the key to success is not in taking massive leaps, but in making steady, consistent progress, no matter how small. Keep moving forward, and eventually you'll reach your destination. The road to success is rarely a straight path. More often than not, it's filled with twists, turns, obstacles, and moments of doubt. But success is not reserved for those who face no challenges. Instead, it's for those who choose to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. The key to success isn't about avoiding difficulties or waiting for the perfect time. It's about resilience, how we respond when things don't go according to plan. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to recover quickly from difficulties, and to keep pressing forward even when the road ahead seems uncertain. It is not a trait that some people are born with, but rather it is a skill that can be developed through consistent effort, a positive mindset, and an unwavering commitment to personal growth. When faced with challenges, many people are tempted to give up, to turn back and retreat to what's familiar. It's easy to let fear or frustration take over and convince ourselves that the struggle is too great. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is how they choose to respond when faced with these moments. Resilience is about understanding that challenges are a natural part of the process, and they don't signify failure, they signify an opportunity to learn and grow. Resilient individuals don't see setbacks as permanent roadblocks, they see them as temporary obstacles to be overcome. Developing resilience starts with the right mindset. It's easy to fall into a negative frame of mind when things aren't going as planned, but maintaining a positive attitude is crucial. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties or pretending they don't exist. It means acknowledging the challenge while choosing to remain optimistic about the outcome. It's about believing that no matter how difficult the situation is, there is always a way forward and that you are capable of finding it. Positive thinking allows you to focus on solutions instead of problems, and it gives you the strength to keep going when the going gets tough. One of the keys to developing resilience is learning to manage your emotions. When things don't go the way you expect, it's natural to feel frustration, disappointment, or even anger. But these emotions, while valid, cloud your judgment and prevent you from moving forward. Resilient people know how to acknowledge their emotions without letting them dictate their actions. They understand that emotions are temporary and that their focus should remain on taking the next step, no matter how small. Managing emotions means not letting temporary feelings stop you from pursuing long-term goals. It's about staying composed and taking calculated actions, even when it's tempting to react impulsively or give up. Another important element of resilience is adaptability. Life is unpredictable and things don't always go according to plan. Resilient individuals are able to pivot when necessary. Instead of rigidly sticking to one path, they are open to change and willing to adjust their strategy when things aren't working. Adaptability is the ability to change course without losing sight of the end goal. It's about remaining flexible enough to find new solutions and strategies, even if the original plan no longer seems viable. This adaptability doesn't mean abandoning goals altogether, but rather rethinking the best way to achieve them when obstacles arise. Resilience also requires persistence. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about failing and trying again. Many people give up after their first failure, but resilience is built through perseverance. Every time you face a setback, you have the opportunity to learn, refine your approach, and try again. Resilient individuals don't view failure as the end, they view it as a learning experience. They understand that success is not about never failing, it's about failing, learning from it, and continuing to move forward with even more determination. Persistence is a key ingredient in developing resilience because it ensures that you keep going even when the path ahead seems difficult. Additionally, resilience is built through self-compassion. In the face of failure or setbacks, it's easy to barter on yourself, to criticize your mistakes and feel like you're not good enough. However, self-compassion is about treating yourself with kindness and understanding when things go wrong. It's about recognizing that no one is perfect. And everyone faces challenges. Instead of dwelling on your shortcomings, resilient people forgive themselves and use the experience as a catalyst for growth. Self-compassion allows you to bounce back from adversity without carrying unnecessary guilt or shame. In the end, success isn't determined by how smoothly everything goes, it's determined by how we respond to the inevitable challenges along the way. Resilience is what allows you to overcome obstacles, stay focused on your goals, and keep moving forward, no matter how many setbacks you face. It's the ability to embrace challenges, learn from them, and use them as fuel to drive you toward your success. Every great achievement begins with a decision. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that success comes to those who are lucky or destined for greatness. But the truth is that success is a product of choice. The decision to take action, to pursue something with determination, and to commit to the journey, no matter how long or difficult it may be, is what sets successful individuals apart from those who simply dream of success. This decision is the starting point, but it's what follows that determines whether or not the dream will come to fruition. The first part of this decision is the willingness to take full responsibility for your life and your outcomes. Many people blame external factors, their circumstances, other people, or even luck for their lack of success. But true success comes when you accept that you are the one who controls your path. You decide what you focus on, how much effort you put in, and how you respond to challenges. When you take full responsibility for your life, you stop waiting for things to happen and start making things happen. This mindset shift is crucial because it gives you the power to shape your own future rather than leaving it up to chance. Once you make the decision to take control, the next step is to set clear, specific goals. Success doesn't come from vague wishes or passive desires. It comes from having a clear vision of what you want and a concrete plan for how to get there. The more specific your goals, the easier it is to stay focused and motivated. Goals serve as a roadmap. guiding your actions and helping you measure progress. They provide direction and purpose, and they help you avoid distractions that could derail your efforts. Setting goals also allows you to break down your larger vision into manageable steps, making it less overwhelming and more achievable. While making the decision to pursue success is important, it's the follow-through that determines whether or not it will actually happen. Commitment is the bridge between the achievement. It's easy to start something with excitement and enthusiasm, but commitment is what keeps you going when the initial motivation fades or when challenges arise. It's the willingness to keep moving forward even when things aren't going as planned. Successful people are committed to their goals and are willing to put in the hard work, time, and energy necessary to make them a reality. Commitment means showing up day in and day out, no matter how you feel or what obstacles stand in your way. One of the biggest barriers to commitment is fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But fear is a natural part of the process, and it should never be allowed to stop you. The decision to act, even in the face of fear, is one of the most powerful choices you can make. Successful individuals don't let fear control them. They acknowledge it, but they choose to act anyway. They understand that fear is often a sign that they're on the right track, pushing themselves out of their comfort zones and toward growth. Fear becomes an indicator that they are taking risks, and taking risks is a key part of achieving anything meaningful in life. Another important aspect of the decision to succeed is the understanding that setbacks and failures are not signs to give up. They are part of the process. When you make the decision to pursue success, you are also deciding to face challenges head on. It's through these challenges that you grow, learn, and develop resilience. The ability to keep moving forward despite failure is what ultimately leads to success. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, adjust your approach, and become better. Those who succeed are those who refuse to let failure define them. They see it as a temporary obstacle, not a permanent state. The decision to succeed is also about discipline and consistency. It's not enough to make a decision one time and expect results to come quickly. Success requires discipline, being willing to stick to your plan, even on days when you don't feel like it or when the results seem far off. Consistency is key to building momentum and making progress toward your goals. The more consistently you take action toward your goals, the closer you get to achieving them. It's the small, consistent efforts that add up over time and lead to massive results. The decision to keep going, even when it feels like progress is slow, is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up along the way. Finally, the decision to succeed requires a mindset of growth and continuous learning. Success is not a destination, it's a journey of constant improvement. Those who succeed are always looking for ways to grow, to refine their skills, and to become better versions of themselves. They seek out knowledge, feedback, and new experiences that will help them on their path. They understand that learning doesn't stop once they achieve a certain level of success. It's an ongoing process that keeps them evolving and adapting to new challenges. Making the decision to succeed is the first and most important step in any journey. It's about taking responsibility for your life, setting clear goals, committing to your vision, and being willing to face challenges with resilience and persistence. This decision sets the foundation for everything that follows, and it's the catalyst that propels you forward toward your dreams.